Hello students, welcome to the thermodynamics. In this video, we will discuss the Carnot cycle. Carnot cycle was given by Sadi Carnot. This is the first thermodynamic cycle. There are many thermodynamic cycles. Among all those, this is the first thermodynamic cycle. The atmospheric air is taken as the working material for the Carnot cycle, and atmospheric air is treated as an ideal gas. The Carnot cycle consists of 4 processes. 2 are isothermal process and 2 are reversible adiabatic process. The Carnot cycle consists of 2 are isothermal process and 2 are reversible adiabatic process. Let us discuss the Carnot cycle with the PV coordinate system, pressure versus volume coordinate system. The very first process is the isothermal expansion. You know, isothermal means constant temperature. Isothermal means constant temperature process. As we know, the Carnot cycle consists of 2 adiabatic process and 2 isothermal process. First, let us select the 2 adiabatic curves. These are the 2 adiabatic curves. The 2 adiabatic curves are always parallel to each other. These 2 are adiabatic curves. Adiabatic curves. Now, the very first process is isothermal expansion. Remember, these 2 adiabatic curves are parallel to each other. But isothermal curve and adiabatic curve are intersecting. Let us take the isothermal expansion curve. It may be the 1 to 2 may be the isothermal expansion curve. During the expansion process, as we know, volume increases but pressure is dropping. Pressure is dropping from P1 to P2 by the time the volume is increasing from V1 to V2. But in general, during the expansion process, pressure decreases. Along with pressure, temperature is supposed to be decreased. But if you want to maintain the constant temperature throughout the expansion, the hot source is required. Once I add the hot source, this hot source is giving required heat energy for the expanding gas. By receiving the heat energy from the hot source, the temperature of the gas increases. Because of the expansion, along with pressure, temperature is dropping. But we are adding the hot source. That hot source is giving the heat energy for the expanding gas. Then the temperature of the gas increases. The combined effect of drop of temperature due to expansion and rise in temperature due to heat addition may be maintaining the constant temperature. It means indirectly isothermal expansion is possible by adding the hot source. Once we add the hot source is giving the heat energy for the expanding gas. Then the heat supplied to the expanding gas to maintain constant temperature, that is T1. Formula: the amount of heat transfer at constant temperature equal to mRT1 ln Re. Since it is expansion process, it is Re ln Re, where Re equal to expansion ratio. This expansion ratio equal to volume after expansion by volume before expansion, V2 by V1. Expansion ratio equal to volume after expansion by volume before expansion. That is about the heat supply to the gas. This 1 to 2, the first process is isothermal expansion, followed by 2 to 3 adiabatic expansion. 2 to 3 adiabatic expansion. I can say 2 to 3 reversible adiabatic expansion. The 1 to 2 are first process. Very first process is 1 to 2. 1 to 2 is isothermal expansion, followed by 2 to 3 adiabatic expansion. In this process, heat transfer equal to 0 because it is adiabatic process. Adiabatic means heat transfer Q equal to 0. Reversible means internal irreversibility psi equal to 0. Then the rule for this kind of process is PV power gamma equal to constant. That means these two curves are following the rule PV power gamma equal to constant. Then the relation between temperature and volume during the expansion. During the adiabatic expansion, along with pressure, let the temperature is dropping from T1 to T2. Temperature is dropping from T1 to T2 because temperature remains constant during the 1 to 2 process. Then the relation between temperature and volume during the 2 to 3 is temperature at state 2 by temperature at state 3 is equal to volume at state 3 by volume at state 2 power gamma minus 1. This is the relation between the temperature and volume for the reversible adiabatic process. But temperature at state 2 is T1 only by temperature at state 3 is T2 is equal to volume at state 3 is V3 by volume at state 2 is V2, rest gamma minus 1. Let this is the relation number 1. Followed by 1 to 2 isothermal expansion followed by adiabatic expansion followed by isothermal compression. This is the isothermal compression curve. It should be parallel to 1 to 2. The 3 to 4 is the isothermal 3 to 4 is the isothermal compression. Isothermal means constant temperature. In general, during the compression process, pressure increases. Along with pressure, temperature is supposed to be increased. But our intention is to maintain the isothermal condition. Isothermal condition means constant temperature. For arresting the temperature or for maintaining the constant temperature, you must add the cold source. Once you add the cold source, the compressing gas can dump the heat to the cold source. So once we add the cold source, that cold source is receiving the heat energy from the compressing gas. Because of the heat transfer from gas to cold source, gas temperature decreases. So because of the compression, temperature increases along with pressure. But because of the cold source effect, the temperature of the gas decreases. The combined effect of increase in temperature due to compression and decrease in temperature due to cold source, this combined effect may maintain constant temperature. From this, it is very clear that Isothermal compression is possible by adding the cold source, and isothermal expansion is possible by adding the hot source. Once we add the cold source for the 3 to 4 process, the compressing gas is rejecting the heat to the cold source. The amount of heat rejection to maintain the constant temperature, that is T2, is Mr into T2. Here heat is rejected for maintaining the temperature T2, whereas here heat is added or hot source is added for maintaining the constant temperature T1. That is the reason heat supplied equal to Mr T1 and heat rejection equal to Mr T2 ln RC, where RC equal to compression ratio. RC equal to compression ratio. That compression ratio equal to volume before compression by volume after compression. Remember, compression ratio and expansion ratio are the volume ratios. These two should be written always with greater than 1. That's why compression ratio equal to volume before compression by volume after compression, where expansion ratio is volume after expansion by volume before expansion. Anyhow, this amount of heat rejection during the 3 to 4 process, followed by the last process 4 to 1, reversible adiabatic compression. Reversible adiabatic compression. Here adiabatic means Q0, reversible means I0. Internal irreversibility I0, external irreversibility Q0 for reversible adiabatic process. For this kind of process, the rule is PV power gamma equal to constant. PV power gamma equal to constant. Then the relation between temperature and volume during the 4 to 1, that is reversible adiabatic compression, is temperature after compression, temperature at state 1, because temperature after compression is more than before compression. That's why it should be written higher temperature by lower temperature. Temperature at state 1 by temperature at state 4 equal to volume at state 4 by volume at state 1 power gamma minus 1. But temperature at state 1 is T1 by temperature at state 4 is T2 equal to volume at state 4 is V4 by volume at state 1 is V1. V4 by V1 power gamma minus 1. Let this is the relation number 2. Now let us compare the relation 1 and relation 2. From the relation 1 and 2, LHs are equal, you can equate the RHS. So from the relations 1 and 2, you can equate the RHS. V3 by V2 power gamma minus 1 is equal to V4 by V1 power gamma minus 1. Gamma minus 1 cancel. It is V3 by V2 is equal to V4 by V1. That can be also written as you bring this V4 to this side, V2 to this side. V3 by V4 is equal to V2 by V1. Cross multiplication. But look at the V3 by V4. V3 by V4 is the compression ratio, is equal to V2 by V1. V2 by V1 is the expansion ratio. Therefore, compression ratio and expansion ratio both are identical or both are equal for the Carnot cycle. With this information, let us find the efficiency formula for Carnot cycle. Here remember, work given by the Carnot cycle equal to heat supplied minus heat rejection. Here the heat supplied is MRT1 ln Re. Assume that heat supplied is Q1, Qs I am assuming as Q1. This heat rejection can be marked as Q2. Heat supplied is Q1, heat rejection is Q2. This heat supplied we are assuming as Q1 minus Q2. That is the work done. Work done equal to heat supplied minus heat rejection. Then efficiency of the Carnot cycle equal to output by input. This output equal to work output only. Input equal to heat supply to the system. This work output we have taken as Q1, you got it, Q1 minus Q2 divided by heat supplied is Q1. The efficiency of the Carnot cycle equal to efficiency of the Carnot cycle 1 minus Q2 by Q1. Q2 by Q1. It is equal to 1 minus, look at the Q2, that is heat rejection. Q2 is MRT2 ln Rc. MRT2 ln Rc divided by Q1. Q1 is the heat supplied. The heat supplied Q1 equal to MRT1 ln Re. It is MRT1 ln Re. But we proved that compression ratio equal to expansion ratio. Here ln Rc, ln Re cancel, Mr cancel. Finally it is 1 minus T2 by T1. That is the formula to find the efficiency of the Carnot cycle. So from this, the efficiency of the Carnot cycle is depending on only the T2 be the lowest absolute temperature, T1 be the highest absolute temperature. Or efficiency of the Carnot cycle is the function of only the highest temperature of the cycle and the lowest temperature of the cycle. Let us write like this, where T2 equal to lowest absolute temperature. Absolute temperature means temperature which is in Kelvin. Similarly, T1 equal to highest absolute temperature. It is also in Kelvin. Anyhow, the efficiency of the Carnot cycle equal to 1 minus T2 by T1. From this, the efficiency of the Carnot cycle can be increased by efficiency of Carnot cycle can be increased by first point. For example, if I decrease the T2 at constant T1, this factor is decreasing. 1 minus decreasing value will increase the efficiency. This is the first option for you for increasing the efficiency of the Carnot cycle. The second option for you is, for example, if I increase the highest absolute temperature, if I increase the T1 at constant T2, if I increase the highest absolute temperature at constant T2, then also this factor is decreasing. 1 minus decreasing value will increase the efficiency. This is the second option for you for increasing the efficiency of the Carnot cycle. Third option is by decreasing the lowest absolute temperature and by increasing the highest absolute temperature. If I decrease the T2 by increasing the T1, this factor is decreasing further and further. then efficiency is increasing at a faster rate. So from this, the conclusions are efficiency of the Carnot cycle can be increased by, first point, decreasing the lowest absolute temperature at constant highest absolute temperature. Second point, by increasing the highest absolute temperature at constant lowest absolute temperature. Third option, by decreasing the lowest absolute temperature and by increasing the highest absolute temperature. That is how theoretically efficiency of the Carnot cycle can be increased. With this, I am closing this video. In the very next video, we will discuss the drawbacks of the Carnot cycle and Clausius inequality equation. Thank you very much.